Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So welcome to the Django Rest Framework series. So we'll use ReactJS for a front end, and we're going to use the Django Rest Framework for our backend for creation of an API, and we're going to build one e-commerce website. So into this specific series, we are going to learn entire part of Django Rest Framework, and even we are going to learn max of the things from the ReactJS as well over there. So we are going to build an e-commerce website, and it's kind of an amazing series into my YouTube channel, and where I'm going to teach a lot of things from here, and it will be an amazing learning for you guys as well. And we are going to follow the step-by-step process for every specific integration, like every future integration over there. And if I show you one example, so you can see my website. You would have seen my website, many of people, if you have visited my project sections and all. So this I have used Django Rest Framework for my backend creation, and front end I have used as a ReactJS web application. So you can see if I click on to this one, it is a single page web applications where you won't be having any refreshers. And I have used the integration of here, the Redux I have used, and I have used React as a front end and Django Rest Framework for my backend part over there. So we will be implementing an entire authentication system. So how you are seeing here as a signing email, I can register from here, and we can sign in from this specific website. So the same features we are going to integrate into our e-commerce website as well. And coming back to the home page, so we'll see how we can integrate kind of an animations, and we are going to display all the products of our e-commerce cart, and we are going to see add to cart functionality and ordering the specific cards based on the number of products. So all the things we are going to learn, and let's begin with this specific series. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and like the video, and because it's kind of a paid specific course, but I wanted everyone to see this content for free, so I'm uploading this thing into my YouTube channel, and it will be an amazing part. So let's start with this specific series here. And what is the pre-requirement for you guys here? So the pre-requirement, you might be having, like, I don't know anything like more depth knowledge on any other frameworks. It's fine, because I'm just expecting you guys to know little bit of JavaScript basics, just a basics of JavaScript and a basics programming, that is a Python programming. So if you want to learn basics of Python or basics of JavaScript, you can watch my specific videos into my playlist. We are having it. So it is simple basic knowledge you need to have before starting with this specific framework, because Django Rest Framework, as you know guys, Django Rest Framework is an amazing framework for developing an end-to-end backend part, and it's not at all easy. As I can say, it's a little moderate level, but I'll make you guys very easy to understand all the concepts with the Django Rest Framework, whatever we are going to learn, like authentications and all those stuffs. So let's start with this specific framework over here. So before and foremost, I want you guys to start with Node.js. First, we are going to set up one front-end part using ReactJS there. So for that, we need to install the Node.js. So just go to the nodejs.org/en/downloads. So if you have an Windows, Mac, or whichever you have, you can just start downloading it. So I'm just going to click for the download Windows installer for this. So once I start downloading it, you can able to see it has been started downloading it. So once it is downloaded, there is a normal installation. So I hope you will be installing this one. So just double click on that and just click next and install it. Very simple thing. So once it is done, I'll be using a VS Code editor for so I'm going to tell VS Code download for writing a code. Just click on to the first link of it and just click on to the Windows if you are having it. So once you click, automatically the specific download will getting start here. So once you have started downloading, once it is finished, just open it and click next and install. Very simple process. There is nothing to be worry about that. So once it is done, so we have downloaded Node.js, Visual Studio Code, and we need to download the Python as well. So I'm going to tell here as a Python download. So whichever the latest Python you have, you can download it, not a specific version you want it, but just download the latest one over here. Okay, so you can see the latest is 3.12.1. I might be using 3.11 in my system. I don't want it to download right now because it will take time. So it is at 25 MB. Just click on the download, and even here it's a very simple process for installation. And I wanted to show you my website over here. Inside it, I have said you the steps. So please visit the arkprocoder.com website, go to the blog section over there, and here you can able to see. So you can see here how to download Python in Windows over here. So just click on to read more. So once you visit this link, just download it. So you will be getting this kind of page. It is very important step which I am saying right now. When you get this kind of a page, please checkbox this add python.ext to the BART. Just click this, then click on to the install now button, because it's a very important point. It is sometimes your environment variables, it is not going to find where is your pip whatever the specific location is there, right? It is not going to set up over there. Because of that, we need to add python.ext to the part. I mean to just checkbox this and just click on to the install now button. Make sure both the checkboxes are tick. Okay, it should be tick, and click on to the install now button. So once it is installed, you can open the command prompt and you can just check for the command that is enter pip. So once you enter, you will be able to see these packages, this kind of stuffs, and once you wanted to see which is the version Python, you can see it is going to show you the version of the Python over there. Same thing I have said you guys how we can do it for the Visual Studio Code as well. So even this is also the VS Code here, how to install VS Code. So once you click on to a download button, you will be getting this kind of page. And once you get this kind of a page, then just click on accept the agreement, and please checkbox all the checkboxes from here and click on to the next and install. Your Visual Code is going to be open over there. So this is all the part of the installation, the Node.js, Visual Studio Code, Python. Okay, these three specific software you have to install it over there. So now let's begin with the first thing. So I'm just going to open one specific folder. So I'm going to create my project folder into the F drive. I'm just going to create a new folder by the name here as a Django Rest. I'm going to just tell Django Rest Framework using React over here. Django Rest Framework React. So I'm just going to create this specific folder, and this folder I'm just going to create two more folders into it. So I'm just going to create the folder for Frontend, and I'm just going to create another folder by the name that is a Backend over there. Okay, so once I created a Frontend and a Backend, so let me open the Frontend folder here. So I'm just going to right click and open with the Visual Studio Code over here. So I'm just going to open the Frontend folder and the Visual Studio Code. So when I right click and open with the Visual Studio Code, so this specific folder is going to open over here. You can see an empty folder is got open into my Visual Studio Code over there. So even you can simply open a Visual Studio Code and click on to a file, click on to an open folder, and you can just select whichever the folder you have created and just click on to the select folder. In this way also you can open the Visual Studio Code. So this is the one more thing to be noted. Now coming back to the first thing over here. Now we need to create one React application, right? So once your Node.js is installed, once you have installed your Node.js, once you just click on to the terminal and a new terminal, so it is just going to open the specific new terminal over there. Okay, so now I'm just going to create the specific folder here. I'm just going to create one React application. Okay, so you can see it has been open here. So it is using default PowerShell. It's fine. So now we need to create one React application. So how we are going to create a React application over there? So we need to just use npx command. Npx, that is a create, and we need to give React app, and you need to give the which is a folder name you want to create. So I'm just going to create the application name here as a e-commerce over here. Okay, so I'm just going to tell the application name as a e-commerce over here. So once I enter this command npx create React app e-commerce, so what it is going to do here is it is just going to create application for an e-commerce, and it is just going to set up all our configuration files. Like it is just going to give us package.json file, and it is just going to set up few of the stuffs over here. So let's wait for it. Once we make sure you have connected with the internet when you are running these commands, and you can see it started creating a React application over here for this specific folder, and it is going to take some couple of minutes for initializing the React app. So let's wait for it. So once it's completed, I'll resume the video. Yeah guys, so you can see it has been created the entire bundle for me. So once I open this folder, you can see there are a lot of folders got created, and we have package.json file where we are going to install all our packages and going to store over there, and we have some kind of a public folder which is going to start with here, and we have some src folder where our app.js is going to load whenever we are going to start the e-commerce web application here. Now I'm going to start my server over here. So before just starting the server, I wanted you guys to install few of the extensions that is going to help you a lot for the coding purpose. So just click on to these 4 boxes, and first an extension I wanted you guys to install, that is a ES7 snippet. So ES7, if I search for ES7 React Redux Graph, so I want you guys to install this specific package, that is a ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native snippet. It is going to help you for your coding part. So once it is done, I want you guys to install another specific extension, that is a Python extension. So search for a Python. So you can see you can just install any one of the extension pack. So once I open this, so you can see this is the pre-release. You can install this specific package, the extension that is going to help you a lot for your coding part. So once it is done, and one more extension I wanted you guys to install, that is the bracket pair color. That is going to give you something like a good look for coding. So bracket pair color. So install this bracket pair color DLW. This is going to help you a lot for your bracketing style. And apart from that, I want you guys to install the auto rename tag. So you can just search for auto rename tag over here. That is auto rename tag. So this is going to do what? Whenever you are changing any one of the tag name, automatically it is going to change from the endpoint also. Okay, this is also going to help you one more thing. So this is the one more extension, and apart from this, there is another extension you want to install it, that is a prettier command. It is going to prettify your code. That is a prettier code formatter. This is going to help you to prettify your specific code over there. So this is the command, and if you want to install the themes, so which is I am using Crichton to know theme. So you can visit my website. So here I have created one specific block for the best Visual Studio themes for coding. So we have a Cobalt 2, we have a Dracula Official, one Dark Pro, and Material Icon theme. So these are 4 best I have picked. Whichever you guys feel good, you can install this specific extension, and you can set this specific thing from the color. Just click on to the settings and themes over here, color themes. So you can select whichever you want. So currently I'm using a Dracula theme over there. Okay, so this is the one thing I wanted to tell now. So now let's start with our application now. So now first and foremost, I need to go with the CD folder, that is the e-commerce folder, that is CD e-commerce. Now I'm just going to enter the command npm start. So once I enter the command npm start, so it is going to start my web application over there. You can see it is just going to start the web application. So let's wait and watch for this, and we are going to get one confirmation, one slider we are going to get. It is the React application is loading into so and so over there. Meanwhile, I wanted to introduce you guys with the React Bootstrap themes over here. So first come back to the Watch free themes for the Bootstrap. Just visit the website, that is boostwatch.com, for using the theme purpose, because I am going to use a Bootstrap for a designing part. So that we are going to use, that is a boostwatch.com themes. So click on to the themes and just see whichever you feel good, you can just start with. And we have a lot of themes over here. So if I just go back from over here, so if I show you whichever the theme you feel good, you can feel free to use it, and I'll be using any one of these from here itself. So let's see which I can use it for better. So you can see our React application is started and it is loading over here. Fine. So now coming back to the first part, I wanted to use theme and I wanted to use my own specific part. So whichever you feel good, you can start ahead with. So I'll be selecting any one of the good theme from here and use this specific theme for developing the web pages over there. So now which is a good theme? So I don't want to go with the darkest part. So what I'll be doing here is I can use this theme. Okay, so this looks good for me, not much bad. So it is fine. I can use this specific theme for the coding part now. So let's use this specific theme over there. So once you use this, so we need to download this, right? I need to download this specific theme. So for that, what I'll do here is how can I download it? Here I can just share. You can see. So I'll be getting here as a bootstrap min.css file. Just click onto this bootstrap min.css file over here. So I got this specific here. So I'm just going to open from this one. So this is our file. So I'll just go, what I'll do here is I'll just visit the folder. So here is our get bootstrap min.css. I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to cut this things, and I'll go to my project directory. I'll just go to my project directory, E drive. Okay, F drive I have created it, and inside an F drive I'm just going to open the folder where we are working on Django REST React. I'll just go to the front end, e-commerce, and I'm simply where I need to paste this specific file is a important step next. Okay, so I need to paste it this specific folder inside your src folder. Okay, inside your src I need to just paste this bootstrap min.css file over here. So once you paste this specific bootstrap min.css file, then we need to configure our application over there. We need to configure our application now. Now coming back to over here, so how your application is loading basically the React one. So basically it is just going to your app.js file. When from the public it is go to the index. Here it is just going to see the id root, and it will just go to your app.js, sorry, index.js. Whenever there is an id root, it is just going to render the app application. So from here it is just going to come here, and it is just loading this. Whatever you are seeing on the screen, it is coming from here. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to remove entire thing from here. So from the app.js I'm just going to remove each and everything. I'm just going to save this, and once I save this, if I just come here, you can see there is nothing right now. So once it is done, and I need to remove unnecessary files from here. Okay, so I'll remove this app.css. I don't need this specific file. I'm just going to delete this. So I'm going to move to the recycle bin, and apart from this, whichever you feel don't need it, so you can just delete it from here. So let it be, and I'm not going to change much thing. I'll just come back to the index.html file. I'm just going to change the title name over here. So I'm just going to tell here as the e-commerce. I'll just tell e-commerce drf application. Okay, drf React app. So I'm just going to tell Django Rest Framework React app over here. And apart from this, what is the next thing I need to integrate here? So now I'll just come back to my app.js file over here. So I'm just going to tell here as a RFCE. So we will be using functional based component. So what is mean by this RFCE? RFCE. So it is a short form for React Functional Export Component. Okay, RFCE is one thing, or RCC. RCC is a class based component. RFC is a functional based component. Let's use whichever you feel good, you can use it. I'll be using a functional based component from here. So you can see it is just loading the import React from React application, and is exporting an app over here. You can see I'm getting an app over there. So then I need to do what? I need to just integrate the specific Bootstrap file. Now I need to integrate the bootstraps over here. So let me use here simply, I'll just remove this specific here. I'm just going to use here h1 tag. I'm going to tell here as a welcome to Django Rest Framework series. So just save this. So once I save, you can say I'll be able to see welcome to the Django Rest Framework series now. Now you can just keep this image in your mind. Okay, now once I integrate the Bootstrap from here, you will be able to see the difference how it will be. So coming back to your index.js file. So here I'm just going to integrate the Bootstrap over here. Okay, so here I'm going to integrate the Bootstrap. So all I'll do here is I wanted to just import the Bootstrap file over here. So I'm just going to use it here as import import. So from this I need to import from the same directory. I need to integrate the bootstrap min.css over there. Okay, so I'm just going to add that is a bootstrap min.css. So I'm just going to import the bootstrap min.css over here. So I can able to see if anything's errors we are facing, it will be able to see into the terminal over here. So now you can see it has been working. So previously you saw that, right? It was different. Now it is coming as a different over here. So that means our specific application is loading the CSS file of the specific theme now. Now I can integrate whatever is there from here. Let's integrate few of the components from it. What I'll do here is I'm just going to close the public folder. Inside your src, I'm just going to create one folder by the name that is components. So inside the components, I'm just going to store all the components like Navbar, whatever it is over there. Okay, so let's integrate the specific header part over here. So I'm just going to create a header. So I'm just going to tell, or a header or a Navbar, you can keep it. I'm just going to keep it as a Navbar.js file. So this will be the Navbar.js file, and I'm going to tell RFCE, functional based component. It is your Navbar over here. Same thing, I'm just going to create here as a footer.js. So it is a footer section. So I'm just going to tell RFC, it is basically a footer part over here. So we have a navbar, we have a footer over here. Now what I will be doing here is, so inside my app.js file, I'm just going to import these specific things from over here. Okay, so now we have a welcome to Django Rest. I'm just going to cut this over here. So in this, I'm just going to use one like this. I'll be using this specific part because it is not going to give us error. Whenever whichever the component I want, I can load it over here. Just use this specific less than greater than symbol and close it with this, because inside this I'm going to keep it over there. So inside this I'm just going to create one div tag. So inside a div, first I want to show the navbar. So I'm just going to tell I wanted to just show the navbar over here. So you can see I wanted to show the navbar. So I'm just going to open like this. I'm just going to tell I wanted to load this specific navbar file over here, and after that I want to use one specific container from the Bootstrap. So I wanted to use from container from the Bootstrap. So I'm going to tell here as I want to import from, that is a React Bootstrap boot strap from the React Bootstrap. Just press tab, it will come to the second part. From here I wanted to import the container over here. So we want to import the container. So basically it is not going to work because we have just used an external file for Bootstrap. It is not going to work here because we are importing from the React Bootstrap. We need to install this specific module into over here. So let's install that React Bootstrap into our node module. So I'm just going to open my terminal, press Ctrl C over here and enter the command npm install. This is the first package we are installing, that is a React Bootstrap, strap over here. So it is also simply it is going to work from here itself. Basically, like whatever the code we have here, it is also going to use the same methodology for using, but it will be into the Reactify way. Okay, so this course is an entirely purely based on the developing a professional way of developing any project. Okay, and not simply just writing unnecessary stuffs here. We are developing this project with a purely based on the professional way. Okay, so this is how we are going to start. So you can see it has been used now. So now at that time this is going to load it over there. So now I'm just going to start the server, npm start. So once I start it, it is going to start your npm server. It's fine. So once I load this specific container into over here, so next I need to import this navbar over here. I want to import the navbar. So you can see if I search for a navbar, automatically it is taking it here. So you can see it is the navbar is been taken from over here. Navbar is been taken from here, and I wanted to search for a footer as well. So I'm just going to search for footer. It might work or it might not work. If it is not working, simply just use this specific lines of code over there. Okay, so I'll be pushing the code daily into our GitHub repository by whatever the code will develop. So you'll be finding the code easily over there. So not a worry to that. So I have used a footer and a navbar. So you can see now we have a navbar, right? So after a navbar, I'm just going to use the container. So I have used the container, right? So I'm just going to use the container so that the things should come at the middle, and inside this specific container I'm just going to close the specific footer section also. So I'm just going to use the specific footer at the last over here. So once I save this, if I right click and format the document, so you will be able to see into our home page. So if I refresh, you can see I was able to see the navbar and I was able to see the footer section component. Both the things are loading perfectly into our page over here. So inside a container, I wanted to use some h1 tag. I'm just going to tell here as a welcome to Django REST series using React Redux. Okay, React or EDUX Redux over there. So just save this one. So once I save, we can able to see welcome to Django REST series using ReactJS. You can see we have a navbar and we have a footer section as well over there. So now I want to implement a navbar. So for that, what you can do? So you can just go to simply this boostwas.com. So whichever navbar you feel good, you can just feel free to use it. So I'll be using the black color one. I'll just simply copy the code from here and I'll just come back, and inside the navbar, wherever we have this, right, I'm just going to use this specific extension. This is just less than greater than template, and I'm just going to simply paste it over there. Whatever the things is there, I'm just going to simply paste it. So here we have a form, right? So we'll see what is the errors we are having it here. So first and foremost, React is going to look for the class name, not for the class. So wherever we have a class, right, just simply replace with the class names over there. So I'm going to tell Control F. Wherever we are having a class is equals to, I'm just simply going to rename with the CLASS class NAME name is equals to, and just replace. So click onto this, everywhere it got changed here, and here it is not closing it. So always I need to close it with this way. So I'm just going to use this. Now you can see it is gone. That error is gone now. So once I save, and if I show you into the front end page of our website, wow, you can see we have implemented the navbar into our project over here. We have implemented the navbar, and we have this entire part over there. Now let's do one thing. Let's keep the Navbar to e-commerce web application, or else I'll just tell e-commerce web app, e-commerce using Django Rest Framework. Okay, so I'm going to tell e-commerce, okay, whatever the name you wanted to give it, you can just give it here as a, I'm just going to tell e-commerce, what I can give, e-commerce shopping cart, okay, or e-commerce cart, I'll give it here, okay, e-commerce cart over here. So if I just save it, you can see I have a e-commerce cart, and a lot of things are been there. Let it be as it is, later we'll see over there. Okay, so now we have completed the design part for the React application now. So this we have seen. So now in the same video itself, I wanted to give a touch up for the Django REST framework. So we have seen a little bit of the things on the ReactJS. We were easily able to land our home page. Later we'll work on to the features of it, but we have completed this much far enough for me right now. Now next part we'll start with little bit onto the backend part now. So later on, after I set up a backend, then we'll go step by step. We'll create, first thing we'll integrate the authentication system, sign up and login. Then once we integrate that, then parallelly we'll work, after that we'll work with the backend part for sign up and login. And again we'll work on to the displaying the products, and same thing will work parallelly, like first front end, then backend, front end, backend, like that. Okay, I don't want every like completely I'll build front end first, then I'll look onto the backend. So based on the concept wise, we'll start with this sessions over there. Okay, so now coming back to the e-commerce, so this is a backend find, it is fine for me. So I'm just going to do what, I'm just going to simply close the folder over there. So I'm just going to simply close the folder. Now I wanted to integrate the Django REST framework to it. Now I'll come back to this e-commerce website. So this is a folder, right? So I'm just going to, now I'm going to open the backend folder over here. So I'm just going to open with the Visual Studio Code, the backend folder. So once I open this specific backend folder in the Visual Studio Code, first and foremost, I need to install the Django over there. Okay, so I'm just going to open the terminal. I'm just going to open the new terminal for it. So first I need to install Django framework. Then we are going to create an application, and we are going to create a project. We are going to configure all our configurations. Then we'll see to land, we'll just land one landing page for the Django REST framework now. First and foremost, we need to install pip install Django. So we are going to install pip install Django over here. So coming back to the, I have opened a ChatGPT, right? So I have opened it. Simply I don't want to dig my head for everything. So I'll ask my ChatGPT, I'm modern technology, I'm modern AI, that give me a code for setting up, okay, setting up Django REST framework, okay, Django landing page, landing landing page. Okay, so you can see our ChatGPT is going to give us everything, and you can see it is just creating me entire stuff. Okay, so you can see it started giving me entire thing. We'll just work on with the same pattern, and we'll work with it, and we'll see how whether it is working or not over there. Okay, now coming back to our application now. So let me just do it for this one. So they can see it is telling me I need to install the pip install Django and a Django REST framework. So already we have installed the Django. You can see the pip install Django has been installed in my system. It's already installed. It is not installing right now again. So you can see again it is telling me I need to install the Django REST framework. I'm just going to copy this command. Now I'm just going to tell pip install, that is a Django REST framework over here. So I'm just going to install the Django REST framework. Even the Django REST framework is initializing to my application over there. So apart from this, I'll tell you one thing. I want to use the virtual env. So I want to use a virtual env. So that is a very important. I want to use a virtual env, and I need to initialize the specific project of it, because we install a lot of packages, and I want to give you the code as well, and I don't want after 1 year the code should not work. So it should not happen, right? So because of that, I want to give you some requirement.txt files where all our packages based on the versions it will be stored. So for that specific thing, I'll do what thing? I'll just install first. I'll be using virtual env. So pip install virtual env. So what is virtual env? Virtual env is kind of a newborn baby which is going to store entire our project into that specific bubble. So now I'm going to tell here as a virtual env as my env. So I'm just going to create one virtual env as a my env. So it is just going to create one my env folder, and you can see created env folder where we have lib scripts over here. Inside this specific folder, I'm going to create the backend project. Okay, inside this specific folder, I'm going to create the backend project over there. So I'm going to activate now. So I'm going to tell my env slash scripts slash okay my env slash script slash activate. So when I enter this command, it is giving me error. I'm just going to use the command prompt over there. Sometimes it will give error in the PowerShell. So I'll use the command prompt. You can use it. You can try it if it is works. So I'm going to tell you as a my env, we have created a folder in the my env slash scripts script folder. So we have a capital S, right? scripts script slash activate. So what it is going to do here, you can see it is activated my virtual environment now. Now it has activated that specific bubble where I want to create my Django backend, whatever the backend things I want to create. That bubble has been activated by the name my env. You can use any name whichever you want, and now I have activated. So whenever I work with the backend, the first command you need to enter is my env slash script slash activates. Then only you can do whatever you want. Okay. Here I am going to install it. I'm just going to tell here as a pip install Django. So I'm going to install Django. Now you can see it is not going to give me requirement already satisfied. Previously, why it was giving that Django has installed into my laptop window. Now we are created a new bubble that is not having any connection with the outside of this specific folder over there. Okay, because of that it is going to not give, because of that it said me the requirement is satisfied. Now in this case it is going to start now. You can see it is going to create the Django. It is just going to install the Django. Then as it is, we need to install the REST framework, and then we need to tell our Django admin to start the project. I need to create a project, then I need to create an application, and then we need to create a landing page URLs, and we need to just set up the landing pages over there. That's it. Okay, let's see that how it is going to work. Right now I'm just going to keep like this. Let's wait for it. Okay guys, so you can see it has installed. Now we need to install the Django REST framework over there. So now let's install the Django REST framework to our application or backend application over. So I'm just going to install. I'm going to tell it as a pip install, that is the Django REST framework. So what is that? I'm going to come here, and here we have a Django REST framework. I'm just going to copy it. I'm just going to paste it over there. So we need to install the Django REST framework. And once it is done, you can see it is started downloading it, and it is going to pack up into everything into my virtual environment now. And once it is done, I need to create a project now. I need to create this specific project for what? For setting. So Django basically will be having two things. One is a project and one will be an application. So in one application, we can have a number of, one specific project, we can have a number of applications over there. So let's create the project now. So how to create a project? So we need to use a Django admin start the project and give the project name. So simply I'll just give here as a ecom project. Okay, so I'm going to give it as a ecom. It is a e-commerce project. I'm just going to create it. So once I create an e-commerce project, what happens here is it is asking me some permissions. I'll just grant it. You can see it has been created. So you can see there is a e-commerce project has been created now. So once I have created an e-commerce project, so we can see it has been created. Here is e-commerce project, and I wanted inside it has to create that e-commerce project inside the my env folder, but it created on outside. So whether it is going to do any change or not, I don't know. Let's do one thing. I'm just going to delete it. I'll just delete this ecom project. So I'm just going to come here as a cd my env. So I'll just come inside this cd my env folder. And I'm just going to run again the same command, that is Django admin start project ecom env over here. So now you can see it has been created a e-commerce web project over here. And again in the same way, I am going to come cd ecom env. So I'll just come inside this specific folder. Inside this specific folder, I'm just going to create one specific application by running a command python manage.py start an application by the name that is a ecom app over there. So whatever the name you want, you can give it. So once I enter this command, you can see here it has been created an e-commerce app, and it has created an e-commerce project also over here. So once we have created this specific part, so we need to initialize into my into the specific settings.py file. Into the settings.py file, I need to just till I have created a application. Please look on to that specific thing over there. Before going ahead with, I want to start a server. Let's see. So to start a server, we have a command that is a python manage.py run server over here. So once I run this specific command python manage.py run server, you can see the server has been started. Now if I just press Ctrl and click on to this link, you can see the specific Django landing page has been coming over here. But I wanted to display a Django REST framework part over there. So it is just a normal Django, but we will be using Django REST framework, so that I need to use it now. So what I'll do here is I'll just come back to my settings.python file. So here I'll just initialize our configuration for application. So Django will be having a project and an application. So now I wanted to land it to the Django REST framework part now, right? So first and foremost, we need to initialize the app over here. So I'm going to tell what is your application here we have created. We have created something by the ecom app. So I'm going to tell we have created a ecom app over here. So ecom application we have created. You can see this is a ecom app, right? So we have created an ecom app dot apps. You need to whatever the name you have given. If suppose if you are given here as a shopping cart, shopping, it should be like shopping dot. If you are given here as a ERK dot, okay, like that. So whatever will be the first thing before dot, it should be your application name. Then use it here as a dot apps and use it here as a dot, that is a app config over here. So app config over there. Okay. So once it is done, I need to integrate the REST framework here also. So I'm going to give it here as a REST and I'm going to give it as a REST framework. We are initializing a REST framework also. Just save this. So once I save this one, if I refresh the application, if there is any error, we are going to get the error over here. So you can see it is telling me ecom.apps.app config must be supplied into a name attribute. It's telling me we need to supply this specific thing into a name attribute, or we can do one more thing, like we have admin sessions messages static files. Okay, app config, it should be correct. I don't know why it's giving an error. So I'll simply use something like ecom. So I'll just simply use as a ecom app over there. Okay, let's see what has happened now. So once I save it, you can see now it is working fine. There is no error. So you can just simply use ecom, whatever the application name you have created, just use it simply like this. Okay. So once it is done, now coming back to your urls.python file here. So I'm going to come back to the URLs of it. So here I'm going to import something called as an include. Then I'm just going to create one API path. So I'm going to tell whenever I look onto the /API, whenever we are going to the API, we need to include that I have created an application, right? What is an application we have created? That is a ecom app. So for the ecom app dot URLs. So I wanted to just visit to this specific urls.python file whenever we are going with the URL, that is a /API/. So for that, I'm just going to save. Here I'm just going to tell it as a ecom. Here I'm just going to create a new file by the name that is a urls.py file here. So into this urls.python file, I need to copy exactly whatever we have from here, and I'll just come back to your ecom app URLs, paste it over here. Inside this, I wanted to import something here. So I'm going to tell here as a from the specific ecom application, from the specific ecom app. So from the specific ecom app, I need to import the views. I need to just import the views from here. So, okay, so from the specific ecom app, I need to import the specific views, and apart from that, I need to just use path over here. That's it. So inside this, I'm just going to tell here, whenever we get a request, whenever we get a URL for a local host, we need to go to some of the functions from the views. So let's tell you as a from the specific views which we have used, right? So from the specific views dot, I wanted to just get the routes. So I'll use something like get routes, where your function name is equals to route something, ROUTS routes. So I'm going to close it over there. So I'm going to use it here as a get routes. Okay. So now what we need to do? So we said here, whenever we are visiting from Django, what happens here is like basically it is just going to come from the settings. It will just see if the applications are initialized. It will look onto these applications. It will come back. First step, it is going to look for the URL. Like whenever we use /API, it is just going to be like basically whenever I append here as a slash API, whenever I append as a slash API, what happens here is it is just going to go to from here, it is just going to jump from this URL, from this specific, whenever it is rendering in a home page, it is just going to go to the views.getRoutes function, and we are going to come back to the views.python file over here. So inside this Python file, so here I'm just going to import one JSON response over here. Okay, so from that is going to be from something like from Django.http, we are just going to import the JSON response over here. I'm just going to add some data here. So I'm going to tell here, so whenever we are rendering to the get routes, so I'm just going to tell whenever we are, basically we have said, right, we need to call the function, that is whenever we get this URL, we need to call this get route function. So we are just creating a get routes function over here, which is going to take a request, and it is just going to return the JSON response as, I'm going to tell you as a hello Anis. So I'm going to hello Anis, and I'm just going to give it as safe is equals to false. Okay, just save it now. So once I save, let's look onto our terminal. So basically you can see I'm getting here as a error, ecom app.urls, no module name, that is a ecom app. Where it is getting here, it is giving me at the line number 22 here. So where it is in the e-commerce project URL, right? So okay, here it is not there, ecom app.url. So line number, what is it? It's telling me line number 22 is telling me ecom app is not there over here. So if I just come back to your applications over here, so we have a ecom app we have given correctly, but anyhow it is not able to recognize it over here. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to run the migration. I'm just going to tell you as a python manage.py migrate. So I'm just going to enter python manage.py migrate function. You can see it is just going to apply all the migrations now. Once I apply the migrations, now I'm just going to do what? I'm just going to run the server python manage.py run server over here. Now you can see our server is starting over here. Okay, so please run that command migrate. It basically migrates your application. So once everything is there perfectly, so it is giving. So you can see when I enter a 127./800/API, congratulations, it's your REST framework is working. Basically we are getting some kind of a JSON response over here. We have integrated this specific thing over there. Okay, so this is how we have initialized the Django project, and just we have initialized one specific route by a normal very simple route. Till right now we have not created perfectly a Django REST framework backend. We have not created, just we have initialized a Django web application. We have set up our project and an application, and we saw how a routing is going to work. From the URLs it will go to this URL applications. From here it is just going to look onto this specific URLs over there. So this is basically, it is working fine right now over there. So I think this is enough for this specific session. And in next specific sessions we are just going to work with the entire part of this, and we'll see how a Django REST framework can be implemented over there. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you with the next session. Take care, bye bye.